Hello race fans and welcome to the final round of the Ultimate eDriver series presented by the Race Driver Coach. We are here at beautiful Elkhart Lake for Road America, one of the finest race circuits anywhere in the world. My name is Peter Mackay, bringing you all the action tonight alongside my commentary box pal Jack Canan, and bringing you these gorgeous images of the Road America circuit and the Sargento cheese truck there as well. Marco Barbonera in our production booth in Rome. Jack, we've been treated to an absolute thriller over the first three rounds here in the Ultimate eDriver series. The winner, well, it's Phil Deans. He's going for the full sweep, but tonight we're going for something a bit different. We're going for a proper Grand Prix distance, and Phil Dennis, he's going to be made to work for this one.
Yeah, he certainly is, Peter. We still have the heat race format as per usual as we've been running in this championship, but the key difference here is that everyone is going to make it through no matter what. So the heat races will simply set the grid for the feature race as they have done before, but to add in some more fun to the mix, this race will have a mandatory pit stop, and it's also double championship points on offer. So the current gap at the top of the championship, Phil Dennis on the top by 21 points. It's 25 for a race win normally, but now there's 50 points up for grabs. And this man, Chris Lulham, he's the P2 man of the championship. And interestingly enough, Peter, he was the fastest man in practice too.
Indeed, and the drivers, you're watching Chris Lulham here, he's on his out lap, weaving back and forward, trying to generate much needed temperature into those Firestone alternate tyres. That's a softer compound for qualifying. They have two tyre compounds to use in IndyCar. We're using the very latest Dallara IndyCar with the aero screen, an absolutely fantastic race car. So Chris Lulham goes for his one and only flying lap. The driver's only getting one lap to set their time, and let's see what he can do in this very jazzy coloured Good Smile Racing IndyCar.
Yeah, let's see what he's able to do. Road America, of course, heading into turn one, long sweeping right-hander, then dropping downhill. It's very steep down here. It doesn't do it any justice on board now as we go through turn number 2 and blasting down the long straight. Then underneath that wonderful bridge right there, very iconic, the cheese truck, and down the hill they come. This is a really tricky braking zone down here. It's downhill into a 90-degree left-hander. Got to get on that curve at the outside, swing the car in, then up another tricky section coming up here. Blind apex left-hander. You come up the hill, you got to turn in before you see it, and heading into the next right-hander. Then it is sweeping long right-hander. Should be flat in these Indy cars on the soft compounded tire, and down into another 90-degree left-hander, and then the long right-hander. This is a very iconic part of this circuit right here. It's very tricky to get right, and there's only 4 apexes to hit as you go through there. You're balancing the throttle all the way through, and then basically flat to the next couple of corners, then through the kink at the right-hander. That is not flat in GT cars, easy flat in an Indy car, and down into this wonderful right-hander, this 90-degree right-hander. You can use a lot of curve here as he gets onto the brakes here. Chris Lulham chucks it in. He's only got one opportunity, can't afford to invalidate, use all the curve there, but not too much. Then flinging it through the last sector here, up the hill. Again, it's blind. Again, it's very narrow through there, and very tricky last corner. Get it on the apex. He's missed the apex there. Chris Lulham is going to cost him time. That might have just cost him pole position there as he heads to the line. He got a bag of understeer through the last corner. Has he invalidated, or will he still get that car across the line? It's not going to be the ideal time for Chris Lulham, but a simple error in that last corner, it's not enough for pole. I think he actually invalidated. He's going to be starting down the back of the field then.
That was just the tiniest mistake, and that has been gone from basically, as you said, pole to last. A very, very big difference there. So drama here at Road America. You see our drivers just putting in their times, 143.189 the pace, and oh my goodness, surprise, surprise, Phil Dennis, 142.422. Of course, Phil Dennis racing in the Road to Indy ladder, the support series to the NTT IndyCar series. So this is really the car that he's aiming at in his real-world driving exploits, Jack. This is where he wants to be.
Yeah, so no surprise that he's very, very quick in these, is what we're seeing. A couple more drivers still to come. Jonathan Hallgaard, he was second fastest in practice Phil Dennis was third fastest in practice. Can Jonathan Hoggard knock him off the top step maybe as he heads across the line? Is it going to be enough? We're going to wait to see where he ends up, Jonathan Hoggard. And it's only P7, 1.2 seconds slower than Phil Dennis. But the crucial thing, Phil Dennis is on the pole. Ted Bradbury slots into P2 there. But still, they're nowhere near Phil Dennis. What has he done on that lap? That must have been an absolute... I'd love to see an onboard of that eventually. That must have been a hell of a lap. 0.7 of a second faster than anybody. And crucially for him, his championship rival is going to be starting at the back of heat race number 1 or 2. But it's anything can happen. The feature race sets the grid, so it's going to need to be a monumental effort from Chris Lulham in the heat races.
It will be, yeah, but it's going to be a long day. Just the tiniest of mistakes with the greatest of consequences. Let's get the number 26, Brandon Abram, who impressed, cut through the field very, very well in the feature race at Donington 2 days ago. What can he do? Oh, no, he doesn't improve. He's already set his lap time. Silly Peter. Abraham goes 21st, so quite what we've expected. But this IndyCar, this is an absolute monster here on the iRacing service. One of the trickiest cars to master. Huge horsepower, as is so typical with an IndyCar. But I have to say, as a combination, the IndyCar and this Road America circuit, it's a circuit where you really let the car really wind up to its maximum, and it's the circuit where you can really let that IndyCar go to its best. So this is how they line up for the opening heat race of this evening. Phil Dennis starts on pole position alongside Matthew Payne. Row 2 will be Sandy Mitchell and Bart Horston. Row 3 will be Alex Dunn and Liam McNeely. Row 4 will be Russell Soto and William Chadwick, followed by Ollie Behrman, Christopher Tarran, Brandon Abram, and Josh Malin, the Ginetta GT driver. Robert DeHaan will start 13th, followed by Isaac Blomqvist and Enzo Mucci. Now, I don't think Enzo is driving. I think he's in as a driver, but he's acting as a race steward today. Perhaps that means, Jack, that he's inspecting fireworks.
Yeah, he certainly is. He didn't want to interrupt the battle for the championship, so he's going to be doing the live stewarding for today, Enzo Mucci. So, 14-car heat. All of these guys are getting through. So but this is simply a fight for the grid slots. So Phil Dennis is trying to get another pole position to add to the tally. But the only time he hasn't had one was, of course, in the previous round, where that was taken by Robert DeHaan, who starts 13th in this one. And Phil Dennis, he's trying to go for a clean sweep to win every single feature race this season. And here's another interesting fact about the IndyCar on this one. There are different compounds of tyre on the IndyCar. You've got medium tyres and soft tyres. Soft tyres, of course, a faster compound, but they will wear out quicker, and the mediums a more durable tyre. So they've got a... It is interesting. It's not going to quite come into effect in these short sprint races, but the mandatory pit stop, it could be interesting to see if anybody goes for a very aggressive strategy with tyres. But right now, it seems that Josh Malin is the only one opting for a set of the soft tyres. But basically, everyone else is on those set of medium tyres. We're going to get underway very shortly.
Not right there, Jack, at all, because the red band is the softer tyre, and Phil Dennis, we're riding on board with now.
Yeah, those are definitely softs.
Those are definitely softs. They're known as the alternate tyre if you watch IndyCar in the real world, and the primary is the medium tyre, if you like, the harder of the two. So with a short sprint race, yeah, nice soft. It's effectively a kind of short stint or qualifying tyre, whichever you prefer. But here we go. Matthew Payne and Phil Dennis going to lead us away. The Porsche 911 pace car pulls off, and we're about to go racing here at Elkhart Lake in Wisconsin at Road America. We are going. Listen to that roar of these IndyCar motors, and Phil Dennis has hit the afterburners, and off he goes down towards turn 1. He's opened up 4/10, we're not even at turn 1 yet as they jostle for position into turn 1. Phil Dennis stamping his intent with confidence.
Yeah, Matthew Payne did not get away well that time. Sandy Mitchell slotting into P2. Bart Horston up to P3. You see behind Alex Dunn making a move on Liam McNeely for P5. So falling down the order as they come down the hill for the first time now. Side by side goes McNeely and Chadwick, and Alex Dunn going to get it. He's going to be in slipstream danger here as they head down into the braking zone for this downhill left-hander, avoiding action having to be taken by a number of drivers there as they file their way through. Up the hill they come, but all clean so far. Josh Malin did not make the start, and Ollie Behrman didn't have to do it, but there around goes Brandon Abraham into the gravel trap. Chris Tarhan, sorry, who went off as well as Brandon Abraham. So that's a shame for him. But yeah, Phil Dennis, 0.7 of a second already clear of Sandy Mitchell. So he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He needs pole for that feature race. So he's going to try and get that immediately out of the way on that soft compounded tyre. But Sandy Mitchell got away very well.
He did indeed, yeah, and I have to say, the Black Bull Scotch Whisky logos looks fantastic on the side of a Dallara IndyCar. Wonder if we could do something about getting a little funded Indy 500 ride for Sandy. Also, Tunnix tea cakes. Never thought I'd see Tunnix tea cakes on the side flanks of a Dallara IndyCar, but there you go. That's the beauty of sim racing, isn't it? But Bart Horston, he's just he's kind of recovered a little bit, got himself going, and he's in third. And whoa, that's Brandon Abrams in another crash. I think that's at the kink. It is through Kettle Bottoms. Oh, and that is one very damaged Dallara IndyCar. But back to the front we go then. We're already on lap 2 of 4, riding on board with Sandy Mitchell, looking back from the gearbox, and Bart Horston, of course, British F3 start, very familiar with the single-seater cars, whereas Sandy cuts his teeth mainly in the GT world, although he does know this circuit quite well. He raced the Lamborghini Super Trofeo round here at Road America.
Bart Horston getting in front of Sandy Mitchell as he made a mistake on the exit of turn 2. So Bart moves into P2. Matthew Payne trying to get himself back up to where he started, which was P2. But he's in the middle of this fight right now. Alex Dunn is on the tail of this one as well. So it's a 4-car fight for P2 going on here, which would be, of course, crucial for these guys. If this is a P2, of course, means a 3rd place on the grid for the feature race. So this is a big one. On board with Alex Dunn now as he gets through. Now we get an idea of the speed they're carrying through these corners up to the gears. 4th gear, 130 miles an hour through this corner. It looks slow on board, but it's really not, as they get off, stamp on the power. They're good exit from Alex Dunn that time as we get into slipstream now, approaching 170 miles an hour on the apex, approaching 180 as they come down for the break-ins over this next corner. They're super quick, these cars, onto the outside goes Alex Dunn trying to break it. You can hear it on the limiter, and you can hear the thing smacking off the ground as well with the skid plate. So great sounds from the iRacing team right there on board with this IndyCar. Not quite able to get it done, but 185 miles an hour on the brakes. It's quick. Oh, Russell Soto's in the wall now as well, at the same corner as Brandon Abraham.
Oh dear, that's at the kink as well. That's where Catherine Legg had a monster accident in the Champ Car series back in 2006. I mean, really lucky to get away with it. She has one tough cookie. Fastest lap, goodness me, Phil Dennis, 142.2. That's even quicker than his qualifying time. So it just shows you, Jack, that these tyres, they're not one lap and done tyres. In fact, they actually come in after 2 or 3 laps. And Phil Dennis absolutely charging. And both Bart Horston, Sandy Mitchell, nothing they can do is look at that. Sandy Mitchell in the white Black Bull Whisky car having to go to the inside line to defend there. And that's Alex Dunn going hanging it around the outside. My apologies, it's Matthew Payne. Sorry, Alex Dunn one further back. Oh, but Sandy Mitchell does well to defend there. But the Corvette bridge, big lunge from Matthew Payne, and Sandy Mitchell thinks, okay, you can have it then. Not worth banging wheels about, because these cars are fragile. You do not want to get involved in too much argy-bargy. But I tell you what, this young man, Jack, has impressed me so much in any car we've used. We've had F3, we've had prototypes, we've had GT, and now an IndyCar. Alex Dunn has been fast in every single one of them.
Certainly has, doing very, very well as he heads behind Sandy Mitchell right now. And now you were mentioning these cars being very fragile. They're especially more fragile when we're on the current iRacing damage model as well, the new one. So these cars are basically can fall apart if you breathe on them. So they're very fragile, but that makes the racing even better, because the drivers always try to give each other space. There's a big slide from McNeely. Robert DeHaan says thank you very much and heads straight through. Well held from Lee McNeely, but that cost him the spot as Alex Dunn now with Sandy Mitchell in front of him, going to get a great run down towards turn 1. We're on the last lap of heat race number 1, and again Alex Dunn's going to get a slipstream off of Matthew Payne. I think Sandy Mitchell is not going to quite get that, so Dunn is going to get that slipstream off of the car in front. He's going to have to go around the outside at turn number 1. Sandy gives him plenty of room, but he keeps that inside line covered off and stays in front for now. But the straight is also coming up, so we'll wait and see if Dunn can make the move past here as we come to the this next corner for the final time in this heat race. Again, Alex Dunn getting a nice run as he heads downhill again. Coming to the outside line, this time Mitchell handling on the inside. Much later on the brakes for Sandy Mitchell this time. And Alex Dunn loses it in the brakes all by himself. Spins it around and gets collected by so unfortunate right there. Or William Chadwick, sorry, got collected by William Chadwick. And that's so unfortunate, so easy to do in that corner.
Yeah, and you saw there when we ride on board with Alex Dunn, you'll see on the Cosworth dashboard when that green, see the little green square? That's the drivers on the push to pass. So the drivers have a limited amount of extra power boost that they can use, a little bit like the old days of cars. And oh dearie me, and he just missed his braking point by using that push to pass. He was straight into the limiter, and just a tiny mistake. And Sandy Mitchell probably breathing a big sigh of relief there as they head towards the checkered flag coming down.
Dennis is slow. Dennis is slow. Look at the gap.
Oh,
0.9, 0.8. I think he should be able to. Yeah, something's happened to Phil Dennis, but he's managed to hang on just about. Look at that. Comes across the line, 0.7 of a second. He is going to win this one, but that a scary moment for Phil Dennis. If there was one more lap, he would not be in the lead right now. Barhorst in P2, Payne, P3, Sandy Mitchell, Roberts, Hahn, McNeely trying to get past him, couldn't quite do it. Chadwick, Soto, Tarhan, and Blomqvist. So look at the lap time. He lost 3 seconds on that lap to Bart Horston. So I wonder, was it a spin or was he carrying damage?
Or possibly maybe miscalculated the fuel. Maybe. Well,
possibly, yeah.
Rolled all the way down to turn 3, but at a pretty ginger pace. So I wonder if he's maybe just miscalculated his fuel there. Of course, these cars, every litre of fuel you have or do not have, let's listen. He was maybe on...
he's on full power there.
Not much, yeah. Well...
Yeah, maybe... That's interesting. But either way, it doesn't matter because he's won it. So he's on pole. He's on pole once again for the third time in the feature race. He's missed out on 1 pole position of this season. But heat race 2. Here is the official results. Phil Dennis, P1, Bart Horston, Matthew Payne, Sandy Mitchell, Robert DeHaan, Lee McNeely, William Chadwick, Russell Soto, Chris Tarhan, Isaac Blomqvist, Alex Dunn, Brandon Abraham, Ollie Behrman, Josh Malin, and Enzo, of course, not taking part in this one. They will make the feature anyway, so that is no problem, but Phil Dennis will be on pole for the feature race. Here's your grid for heat race number 2. It's Ted Bradbury on pole position with Kasper Stuka next to him, Kimi Antonelli, Jonathan Hoggard, Jaden Conroy, Matty Hingley, Victor Anderson, and Alfred Nilsson. Then it's Cian Donaldson and James Goldstein in P10. Chris Lullum down in P11, and he's the man in P2 in the championship. He's got to win this to try and take it to Phil Dennis. Callum Bradshaw, Matt Stevens, Harry Cottrell in P14 rounds out the grid for this one.
Yeah, great qualifying from Ted Bradbury, the karting star, to get on the front row of the grid here on pole position, in fact, as we wait for the lights to go and our Porsche 911 pace car will pull off. And this is a perilously short pace lap. You really would like a full pace lap here for these cars to generate temperature. You can see the drivers trying to weave a little bit, trying to get any kind of temperature you like. So we're about to pull off. Ted Bradbury will control the field. He's taking it nice and slowly, waiting for his moment. Oh, lunges forward and off we go then. Ted Bradbury leads us away for heat number 2 tonight here in the Ultimate eDriver Series. It looks like he's going to make it down to turn 1 in clean form is Ted Bradbury, but he has to go down to the inside. He's been drafted down this long straight here at Road America, covers the inside line and gets through clean. Now, where is Chris Lullum? He's made up a great start. He's up to 10th already by turn 1.
Yeah, he needs this one, Chris Lullum, to try and take it to Phil Dennis. He needs to get up at least along a row behind him at the very least for Chris Lullum, as we now side by side Kasper Stuka and with a couple of others. Jaden Conroy and Matty Hingley are in that little scrap as well. There's going to be try and make it 3 wide. There's no way to do that as they head to the brakes. All around he goes. Jonathan Hoggard, 3 cars involved right there. Who had to take avoiding action? A couple of others. But look, Chris Lullum's in P5.
Yeah, that was always a real danger there. Oh, and Harry Cottrell, I think he was already a passenger there. Hard to say, but Oh dear, that was always... Well, Chris Lulham has got away with that big time as well. Big moment.
Oh, the
Who's
leaders.
that he's taken with him? Oh, that's Conroy.
Jaden Conroy.
Oh, Matty Hindley's...
Oh, the leaders. Chris Lulham is leading. Chris Lulham is leading. The whole thing has gone the way of Chris Lulham. It's exactly what he wanted. They've taken each other out, and Chris Lulham is into P1. And he will, if he holds on to this one, start on the front run. It's all fallen into place.
You could say that, absolutely. There was such a risk there.
Oh, there's another one.
Background, that's Matt Stevens. Goodness me, the thing is Chris Lulham had such a risky move, such a risky trip through the field there. Starting at the back, it shows just how calamitous it can be, but picked his way through. Whoa, they crashed in front of Kyan Donaldson there, who just picks the middle and just goes for it. So Kyan Donaldson up to third. Victor Anderson in second, and Chris Lulham out into the lead. Well, what a dream start for our championship contender, Jack. I don't think anyone would have predicted that.
No, absolutely not. So it's all fallen into place for him. Callum Bradshaw's also in the gravel now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars. Half the field's in the pit lane at this moment in time. Jaden Conroy is limping that car to the pit lane with a missing front left. So that's 7 cars in the pit lane. So yeah, half the field is literally gone in that lap alone. So very attritional. It's not even a consolation race. We don't even have a consolation race today, and this is what we've got. But it's definitely Chris Lulham is not going to be complaining. 1.7 in the lead against Victor Anderson, and if he keeps it clean, he should be able to get that game. James Goldstein is another victim with a broken rear wing, it looks like, on that one.
Well, there's going to be a long queue at the Delara Parks truck after this one, that's for sure. Goodness me, this is... oh, he's already lost his wing, has James Goldstein, trying to get it back to the pits and just bites off a little bit more than he can chew there with no rear aerodynamic grip and just brushes it a little bit. Let's see what happened to Alfred Nielsen, the GT4 driver. Down Hurry Downs. Of course, this quite tricky left-hander just gets a little bit on the inside there. But no harm done. Well, what a chaotic start to this race. The drivers now got the repairs. Back out they go. Matty Hindley was one of the front runners to making a little bit. I can't remember if Matty Hindley was the person doing the rear ending or had been rear ended. I can't quite remember, but he was certainly involved in. Whoa, another problem for James Goldstein. Goodness.
Jonathan Hogarth has to take avoiding action. That's not a place you want to be taking avoiding action in. But he managed to get around. But Goldstein trying to limp back to the pit lane with that broken rear wing. So I'm sure he knows it's broken now as he try and bring it back to the pit lane in one piece, hopefully. So absolute chaos in this one. You can see him fighting the wheel. He's trying to keep it in a straight line. But when you have no rear downforce, he's essentially driving an oval IndyCar now.
Yeah, with a kite flying out the back of it. Yeah, it's not helpful at all. It's another problem for Ted Bradbury, our pole sitter. Now, I want to see what Chris Lulham does on this third lap, because this is where we saw Phil Dennis put in his really hot pace. Chris Lulham's second lap was not really on the pace, still in the 43s, really wants to be in the 42s if he's going to fight Dennis on race pace, but we will find out shortly what Chris Lulham's pace is as he comes around the carousel. And just look at that, that is just a proper IndyCar. Absolutely monumental corner speed these cars can produce, and this is of course in the road course setup. I mean, these things on the ovals, it's like a low-flying fighter jet. Absolutely exceptional. If it's not a form of motorsport you follow, well worth having a look at. Very, very exciting.
Yeah, it really is. Well, if we talk about how fast they are, I mean, the Indy 500 qualifying is based off highest average speed, not time. So these things are rapid when they're on an oval. So let's see, Lulham, that was definitely looking like a push lap from Chris Lulham. Let's see what he does as he heads on to the final lap. He pulled out a huge time of Victor Anderson that time. So across the line for Chris Lulham this time. It's a 43, so he's not there. On Phil Dennis's pace. That's about 0.8 of a second off of Dennis's fastest time, which was a 42.2. So Dennis just looks to simply have the measure of everybody.
It appears so, but as we've seen, that we've got a mandatory pit stop coming up in the Grand Prix race, which can throw up all kinds of problems. And of course, we've seen so many drivers get caught up completely innocently in others' incidents. So it's far from a done conclusion. With the double points, any form of problem Well, it's double the penalty, really, as we look at Jonathan Hogarth coming over the line to take the white flag in 6th spot. Goodness me, if you can get your car to the finish here, you'll get yourself a good grid spot for the features. Hogarth, haha, 142.7 for the young Englishman. That is mighty impressive. That's not far off, as close as, damn it, to Phil Dennis's pace.
He was top 3 in free practice with Jonathan Hogarth, so he didn't have a good qualifying, but he is rapid in this car as well. So showing what he can do, but he'll be starting way down the grid. Here's Callum Bradshaw, who's still lapping around. James Goldstein's got a brand new rear wing on that car, so still circulating. But Chris Lulham, his number's 13, which is normally unlucky, but definitely he got really lucky with this one. But what it's done is it's set us up for a championship decider. So Chris Lulham comes through the last corner. He wins heat race 2, which means it's the front row of the grid for the Englishman, and he now can challenge Phil Dennis for the title in the final race of the season. So it's all fallen into place for a championship fight. The Keane Donaldson drove really well there, kept himself out of trouble into P3, and everyone's still going to make the feature race nonetheless, but they're going to be starting further down the order. But because of all that, we've got a championship to decide now.
We're not going to be robbed of a championship showdown, which is brilliant to see, and it will be our 2 main championship protagonists, Chris Lulham and Phil Dennis, on the front row of the grid for the feature race, as we see Jonathan Hogarth coming around to complete the race in 5th. Now, I want to keep an eye on Jonathan Hogarth's lap here. This could potentially be the fastest of the lot for the young Englishman. Let's see what he can put in there.
42.4.
42.4. So watch for Jonathan Hogarth. He'll start on the fringes of the top 10. So certainly well within the in the leading bunch there, Jack. So we'll need to watch for Jonathan.
Yeah, it seems to be. I'm not sure what's happened to Chris Lulham. He was fastest in free practice, faster than both Jonathan Hogarth and Chris Lulham. But I wonder, was his lap in the slipstream maybe? So it could have been something small like that, but. Jonathan Hogarth showing pushed past either, could certainly have been that either. So with Chris, either way, he's still up there. He's been up there every single week, so we can't take that away from him. But we've got a bit of strategy to work out now, because we've got a mandatory pit stop to come up. So who's going to put more fuel in the car? Who's going to put less fuel in the car? We're going to see some aggressive strategies, some fuel saving strategies. It's going to be interesting to watch, but they have got to do a pit stop or they will be disqualified.
And normally in the real world IndyCar Championship, the drivers have to use the red on the black tyre at least once each. So the harder and the soft, they have to use them both at some point in the race. So I wonder if that will be the same here. Chris Lulham then confirmed as the winner from the back of the pack. He was leading 3/4 of the way through the first lap, wins by nearly 5 seconds from Victor Anderson. Kyan Donaldson, a great drive from the Scotsman in the number 97 machine in 3rd, followed by Matt Stevens, Jonathan Hogarth, Callum Bradshaw, James Goldstein, Alfred Nielsen, Casper Sutka, Ted Bradbury, Matty Hingley, Kimi Antonelli, Jaden Conroy and Harry Cottrell, all having early problems. So our drivers, I think they're quite keen to get going, Jack. You can see them all lined up ready to go for this finale of what has been a really special Ultimate eDriver series here on Apex Racing TV. We'll run through the grid quickly. Phil Dennis and Chris Lulham will go off on the front row of the grid to decide this championship. Row 2 will be Bart Horston and Victor Anderson. Row 3, Matthew Payne and Kyan Donaldson. Sandy Mitchell and Matt Stevens start on row 4, followed by Robert Hand, Jonathan Hogarth, Liam McNeely and Callum Bradshaw. On the 6th row, on row 7, is William Chadwick, followed by James Goldstein, Russell Soto, Alfred Nielsen, Christopher Tarhan, Casper Sutka, Isaac Blomqvist, Ted Bradbury, Alex Dunn, Matty Hingley, Brandon Abram, and Kimi Antonelli rounding out the top 24. There are the rest of your starters. Phil Dennis, well, can he do the quadruple? Can he do the sweep? He's won the first 3 out of 3. He's going to lead us away in the number 98 car. Phil Dennis on the road to Indy. Is he going to be on the road to the championship here? The lights go out and we are off for one more round of the Ultimate eDriver Series. We are go here at Road America. Brilliant start once again from Phil Dennis, but Chris Lulham is very much the measure of them as they head into turn 1. Oh, little move across there from Phil Dennis. Oh, we've got a few cars into Matt Stevens is there in the gravel. I think Jonathan Hogarth's on the wall. Oh no! Oh, so a guy that we picked as an outside chance for the win, Jonathan Hogarth, hitting the wall, and he's done.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, but Dennis got the start he needs now. Lulham's under pressure from Bart Horston as they come down to the left hand. He's going to have to defend as they head down the hill for the first time. Horston trying to put a spanner in the works of Lulham's championship here, but he can't quite get alongside. But Lulham got a great getaway. Dennis did not leave him standing whatsoever. He absolutely stayed with him there. So Dennis now in the lead, but Bart Horston is piling the pressure on here. British F4 versus British F3. An interesting one to watch. Victor Anderson is P4, Sandy Mitchell in P5 as they head through into the long right-hander. But again, now Dennis is opening the gap already.
He certainly is, yep. Of course, IndyCar being a very happy hunting ground for drivers, Antipodean drivers like Will Power and Scott Dixon and many, many others. And Bart Horston right there up the front in P3 and really putting some pressure now on Chris Lulham. Robert De Haan hard into the wall. So the Dutchman not channeling the success or the racer attitude of Rinus VK, who was in the IndyCar Championship last year. Riding on board back with Bart Horston then for Iridium Motorsport. Now let's see if he uses the push to pass here. Yes, he does. Straight on it. You can see the little green square there on the Cosworth dashboard. I wonder if, of course, Chris Lulham can use his as well. He decides not to. Brilliant run from Bart Horston as he goes. Is he going to take second place? Down into turn one they go. Who's going to be bravest on the brakes? Chris Lulham takes a big lunge. He knows he has to take the risks. Oh, this is, well, Phil Dennis, Jack. He'll be looking in his mirror saying, oh, that is fantastic, guys. Thank you so much. Cheery bye. Oh dear.
It almost came to death right there on the exit as they're still side by side as they come down to the hill right here. If I was Lulham, I'd let him go. Bart Horston is quicker. Maybe he can drag him up to Phil Dennis. After this one, Horston is clearly a car length in front and he takes P2 off of Chris Lulham. Now, can Horston channel that pace and catch up to Phil Dennis here? Because Lulham is not slow at all, but Horston looking very racy. Let's see if he's got the pace to maybe catch up to Phil Dennis, but he's pulled out 1.7 seconds already.
Yeah, you just cannot give Phil Dennis even the slightest whiff of an opportunity and he will just pummel you at the first possible chance. Like you say, 1.7 seconds in barely 2 laps. Absolutely exceptional. As we look back at Sandy Mitchell, another driver who has been really impressive across all 4 of the cars we've used in this championship, but he's got Victor Anderson on his case and whoa, there you go, push to pass. Goodness me, push out the way. Chris Lulham straight by Bart Horston like he's in, well, a USF 2000 car there. It just shows you the benefit of that push to pass and using it at the right place. Really, really important.
Yeah, it looks like Cian Donaldson's around. Cian Donaldson is in the wall at that. This is an awkward spot to restart as well. It looks like he's escaped damage, but that's not a great place to run off. It's a shame for Cian because he's running really well inside the top 10. Now here comes Horston again. As they come towards someone swapping places left, right and centre. Out comes Robert De Haan on the right hand side. Lulham defends again. Switch back for Horston as they come down the hill for the 3rd time. But this is just costing them time. The more they battle, the more time they lose. And it's actually dragging Sandy Mitchell into it now too. As there goes Lulham wide. And this might be easy push to pass for Bart Horston here as they head down the hill. And it's just easy pickings.
I bet they're having fun here. I bet there's big smiles there in the sim. This is certainly big smiles here in the commentary box. Braking just to pass the 2 board. Goodness me. Shows you how powerful the aerodynamics and the braking performance of these Dallara Indy cars. Oh, another really, tell you what, Chris Lulham fighting understeer. Now Sandy Mitchell goes by. He was the fastest guy on the track last time around, apart from Phil Dennis, only 2/10 behind the American. So Sandy Mitchell is the fastest man on track, bar the leader. So he's got a little bit of pace, but Bart Horston, just in that little exchange there, has been given a little bit of respite. Now we'll see, does Bart Horston have any answer at all for Phil Dennis out front?
We have to wait and see because we're surely going to be coming up to mandatory pit stop time very shortly as we're coming up to lap 4 of 10. Somebody's going to have to try something strategic here to try and undercut or try something different. Versus the man up front, because that's the only way you're going to get in front. You can maybe out-strategize him a little bit, but I'm sure he's a wily character, Phil Dennis, so there's not going to be an easy task here, as Chris Lulham now has got to try and repass Sandy Mitchell here. Anybody opting for pit stops? No, still too early, so to come across the line, it's Dennis, Horston, Mitchell, Lulham, and Victor Anderson still in there, and a 42.9 for Phil Dennis on that previous lap by. So not on the pace he was before, but nobody else is in the 42s.
Nobody's been close to it really so far. Unfortunately, apart from Jonathan Hoggard, who has found himself in the wall. Now, we have, thanks to our producer Marco Barbanera in our Rome production booth, the drivers have 5 to 6 laps of fuel, which effectively forces the pit stop. So that means that they're right in the fuel window now, so maybe we'll see some drivers coming to pit lane. What I'm not sure about is if they have to go onto the black tyre at this. They don't, no, so they can put the soft back on, so they can use the same compound once again, Jack. So it's soft tyres all the way there, so that's low fuel and soft tyres. That's what a professional racing driver dreams of.
Yeah, it certainly is. They mightn't even have to change tyres at all. They might have to keep the same set on for the rest of this race. So depends on how the tyre wear is going. I'm sure these tyres are going to hold up pretty well to just 10 laps. So should be fine. But I think it's just going to be a splash and dash. There is Phil Dennis just flinging it through. There's Bart Horston P2. Sandy Mitchell catching up to him, actually. So Sandy Mitchell has got pace, you are right, but he's also dragging Chris Lulham with him. So Horston, who had the pace earlier on, Sandy Mitchell looking like the surprise package here.
This is just fantastic motorsport, isn't it? It is. IndyCar in the real world is a really, really exciting format, but here in the sim, I would say even more so, especially with guys of this quality in the field. Bart Horston, British Formula 3, Sandy Mitchell, British GT champion and Lamborghini factory driver, Chris Lulham as well, single-seater star in the F4 championship, and they're driving a simulated version of one of the fastest race cars in the world. But I tell you what, the guys at IndyCar, Jack, they've really got the rule set right, because these cars, unlike, I don't know, a Formula 1 car, they can overtake one another much easier.
Yep, so they can follow each other much easier, and can do slipstream is much more effective in these cars as well. But you can see that previous lap was a poor lap from Phil Dennis. I wonder if he's now starting to just maybe fuel save and trying to go an extra lap here. Here comes Lulham, he was the fastest man on the previous lap on the limiter. Just chucks it down the inside of Sandy Mitchell, takes P3. Nothing that Sandy Mitchell could do about that one. That was a great move.
Yeah, he was right in the limiter there, was Chris Lulham. He'd used the push to pass all the way straight. My goodness, these cars have just got so much horsepower, turbocharged horsepower, and my goodness me, when they let go hard, and you've got to be on top of it. You just have to watch, and on board of these, you'll see the drivers very, very busy hands at times. Now, Sandy Mitchell very clever there, I think, Jack, because decided not to try and fight that, saw that Chris was going to make the move, didn't waste his push to pass, save it for another point in the race, and because they get a certain amount per race, and I suspect he thought, okay, we're going in after this lap, likely, so for the pit stop, so maybe he thought, I'll just let him go and tuck in behind and then go into the pit stop, not cause both of them to lose too much time. But Kyle Donaldson's had a problem. Oh no, obviously the damage from the first incident still hurting him, but let's see who's going to come to pit lane. Is Chris Lulham going to come to pit lane? Yes. The leader is in, Phil Dennis. Will the others copy him? Yes, all 4 of them have. All 5 of them have. Victor Anderson in too.
Now, I wonder is anybody else going to try and stay? I don't think so. I think they've all put in 5 laps of fuel and that's it. So it'll be a splash and dash. Jaden Conrad, by the way, quick shout out to him, 26th to 8th. He's gone. Wow. So great job from Jaden Conrad, who started right at the back of the field. So come all the way up to P8. So Phil Dennis on board is just going to hopefully for him just be a splash of fuel and go. So right at the very last pit box, Phil Dennis is there. Up on the jacks he goes. That's tyres for Phil Dennis. He's chucking on the new set of tyres, and away he goes. So quick stop for them, and rejoins. Out comes Sandy Mitchell. It's going to be very close on pit exit. Look how much Chris Lulham is close up to Bart Horston in the pit stops.
Yep, absolutely, and Sandy Mitchell's lost just a little fraction as well, so you can obviously put on those new tyres while the fuel's going in with IndyCar, and have you ever watched a real world IndyCar pit stop?
Oh no!
Lulham's off, and Mitchell's off as well. Cold tyres, these Firestone red tyres have got massive grip, but not when they are cold, and that is it. Nose damage there is not healthy. He's lost his front wing, and that hands the championship effectively, without anything too crazy happening, to Phil Dennis. What a shame, Jack.
Yeah, that's championship over, unfortunately, and it was just simply cold tyres and cold brakes. Look, he almost got out in front of Horston as he came out, but the tyres are not in tyre blankets here, so he comes through turn 1. He actually ran wide in turn 1 as well. Look at the understeer as he got on there. Down the hill he comes. He's trying so hard And just here, way too late on the brakes, and the car just locked up. Nothing there. Cold brakes. Trying desperately to stop it, but you're not stopping on the grass right there, and that's race over.
Yeah, that was it. Sandy Mitchell just ran off as well, was able to gather it up, lost some time, and didn't lose a place, strangely, but yeah, dropped off the back of Bart Horston. But yeah, that would just be cold tyres, and it just shows you that these tyres, when they're up to temperature, they grip like super glue. But oh, this is a sad sight. Chris Lullum did such a good job to come through straight from the back of the pack all the way to the front in the heat race, and really putting the pressure on, and just one small mistake and that's it done. And Phil Dennis out front now, a 4-second gap with about 3 and a bit laps to go here at Road America. Still plenty of time for something to happen, but Phil Dennis at the moment in the driving seat to do the sweep of this Ultimate eDriver Series.
Alfred Nilsson's missing half his front wing as well. Jaden Conroy is now up 20 spots, trying to make it 21 places. Alfred Nilsson's got a missing front half of his wing, so here comes Jaden Conroy, who's trying to take a top 5 here up the inside. No prisoners taken from the American, and he goes up 21 places from where he started. That's an excellent drive from him. Russell Soto as well has come from a long way back to get up there. Look at that. Jaden Conroy 21 places, Soto up 8, Ollie Behrman's up 17 as well. Outside line for Russell Soto, late on the brakes. There's going to be nothing Nilsson can do about this one, but he does run him out wide though, and forces him off the track there because he couldn't slow down with half the front wing. So Soto has to go again, but Jaden Conroy, he's done a Gordy much, pretty much.
He has done a Gordy much, unfortunately with no sign of Gordy much tonight, so that's a pity. We've not had our Ginetta Scotsman start here this evening, but no, not to worry. We've been treated to some fantastic motorsport over the last week or so. Amazing that we fitted 4 rounds into a week. It's been extraordinary. And oh, now who's that in the wall? That's Matthew Payne in the wall in the number 7 machine. Gone into the wall hard there. It looks like turn 1, I think. But Phil Dennis now actually coming up to put a lap on. I think this is William Chadwick up ahead. Yes, it is. He'll get a bit of a draft for a nice fast lap once more. Let's see what it is. A 142.7, through he goes. And this man has just been imperious. It was the happy hunting ground of the Ganassi team when the IndyCar Series came to Road America in 2020. Scott Dixon winning, and also Felix Rosenquist as well. But here it's been all about Phil Dennis, and shows that he's certainly on the right path in his real world career as well, Jack.
He certainly is. This is another part that I've just noticed. Half the field's in the pit lane again. So it's exactly like Heat Race 2. This has been the most attritional one of the whole championship. The F3s weren't even as hectic as this one, but it's the sheer speed of these cars, and the damage model is so vicious that it just claims everything it touches. Chris Lullum is still circulating. P11 he is right now, but he's a long way off the back of Ted Bradbury, so it's going to be no points at all for Chris Lullum. So Ted Bradbury there in P10. He's just behind Alfred Nilsson, who's just emerged after replacing the front wing on that Indy car. And here is Russell Soto trying to keep in front of Ollie Behrman, who's come up 18 spots as well. So he's done very well to come from the back of the field as well. But only 2 laps to go when we cross the line. And this has never been done in the Ultimate eDriver Series, where a driver has won every feature race in the championship. But Phil Dennis is on his way to do it.
He certainly is. Well, some of the biggest names in motor racing have won here. Hill, Penske, Shelby, McLaren, and Fittipaldi. Bart Horston. Oh no! And that's a big one. Is that at the carousel? And he's got no drive because he's lost.
Last corner.
Dear me. Final corner. Dearie me. Bart Horston. And that is one very sad and torn up looking race car. Let's have a look then on the replay. Oh, just of the aftermath there. Let's have a look.
Let's see.
Okay. Oh, it's a huge moment coming out of Canada corner up towards turn 13. That's completely flat. So yeah, on the brakes into 14. No, someone in it. Oh, I don't believe it. Oh no, that might have been William Chadwick in the Vibe Esports car. Yes, it was. Made a mistake on his own. Just flick. That shows you how violent these cars can be. Nothing he can do. He's trying to hold the brakes. He's trying to, and then
no. He wasn't.
Oh.
I think he was trying desperately to try and get it back in the straight line, but he lit up the throttle and went straight into Bart Horstens, and nothing he could have done right there. Chris Lulham up to P9, back in the points. So he's still there. Another one loses it. Bradbury loses it up there too. And that's going to be a disqualification because I think he's used the ball as off track. So who's left? There's 12 drivers left in this race.
Andy Mitchell's on the podium. He's up to second. Victor Anderson's up to podium. Now I feel even more silly calling him the Apex Racing Academy Amateur Champion, which is just the most, the strangest thing to call this young man. He's so impressive. But when he came to racing that particular series, was relatively new to the iRacing sim and therefore had a low I rating, a little bit like a golf handicap in that sense. But coming back to Phil Dennis, I mean, all the biggest names in the sport have won here. You know, Scott Dixon, Shelby, McLaren, Andretti, Fittipaldi, you name it, they've won here at Road America, and he's going to add his name to that list. Of course, used in many of the top series in the United States, particularly in the IndyCar, but also IMSA as well, the sports car series. Now, Victor Anderson has got Jaden Conroy all on his case here. And what a charge. It seems like at every meeting there's a different driver who said, okay, I'm going to do the charge from the back this time.
26th, and he's going to get on the podium. What a drive from Jaden Conroy, the Porsche Super Cup driver. 23 places gained in this race. That is phenomenal from him. So absolute kudos to Jaden Conroy. Kept it between the lines. There's your fastest laps. 42.7 for Dennis. Is the only man in the 42s on the track. He's on the final lap as well, and on his way to claim the title in this Ultimate eDriver Series, the second of the Ultimate eDriver Series as well. Fantastic championship put together by Enzo Mucci. As now you can see Ollie Behrman trying desperately to get past Russell Soto here for a top 5 as he started near the back of the grid as well. And again, Soto's slow through there, so Behrman's going to get a good run on the outside line trying to outbrake him and try to stay in front here. There's Russell Soto, but again, big moments for Behrman that time. But look down the field, Chris Lulham 42.3. He does have the pace, but it's too little too late for Chris Lulham, who's going to finish P2 in the championship. But the man who is in the P1 spot right now, coming through the last corner, Phil Dennis. He's done the clean sweep in this championship. He wins in Road America and wins the Ultimate eDriver Series. He is the champion of the second iteration of this championship. As we now look at Ollie Behrman, he does get in front of Russell Soto as they come to the line. Sandy Mitchell will cross the line P2, and the driver of the day, Jaden Conroy, 26th on the grid to P3. Great drive from the American. Anderson is P4, Ollie Behrman is 5th, Russell Soto will cross the line 6th, Chris Tarhan, Alfred Nilsson, Chris Lulham, what a day, so unfortunate for Chris Lulham, and Bart Horsten is 10th, Brandon Abraham 11th, and Alex Dunn is 12th. But Denez won every single feature race this season. You do not do that by being slow in real life and slow in the sim. But look at this, he does the donuts. He's actually done it, and he is absolutely phenomenal. Second champion in this series, and done it in style by winning literally everything, no matter what you put him in.
Yeah, well, and he is quite truly the ultimate eDriver. And well, I tell you what, I for one am very excited to see how Phil gets on as his season in Indy Pro 2000 in the Road to Indy series. We also have the Road to Indy Championship, the E-Series, here on Apex Racing TV, and I would suspect that Phil will be a front runner in that particular championship as well. Let's have a look at the results then and see how they finished in this final feature race here in the Ultimate eDriver Series. We know Phil Dennis is our winner, swept the whole lot in the number 98 car. Let's see where your favourite driver finished here at Road America for this IndyCar Grand Prix. So here we go then. Sandy Mitchell in second, behind Phil Dennis, 8.8 seconds in arrears. Jaden Conroy, what a drive, as you said, Jack. Drive of the day, near the back of the pack up to the podium. Fantastic stuff. Great drive from the Super Swede Victor Anderson. Ollie Behrman, great drive up to 5th, followed by Russell Soto, Christopher Tarhan, Alfred Nielsen, and Chris Lulham. So unlucky, just a small mistake, costing him ever so dearly. Bart Horsten, no fault of his own, taken out of a sure second place position. Brandy Abraham was 11th, followed by Alex Dunn, Ted Bradbury, William Chadwick, Matt Stevens, Kyle Donaldson, Matty Hingley, and Matthew Payne. And the last few of our runners: Robert DeHaan, Isaac Blomqvist, James Goldstein, Leigh McNeely, Harry Cottrell, Jonathan Hoggard, Callum Bradshaw, Casper Sutka, Kimi Antonelli, and Josh Malin. Oh my goodness. Congratulations, mate. That's when you pat someone on the back just a little bit too hard than normal.
Dear God, that is a horrendous accident. Oh Lord, for poor Phil Dennis winning the championship and getting a severe pat on the back, as you said, Peter. But yeah, I don't think he's going to care to. Hopefully his hands were off the wheel when he did that, because that would hurt if he had a direct drive wheel, which I'm sure he does have. So hopefully his hands were off and he got some warning. But and we've got a couple of minutes left on the broadcast, but look at all those drivers in the interview waiting area. As per usual, Peter, Phil Dennis standing by, and I'm going to hand them over to you.
Let's get him in then. Phil Dennis, you are the ultimate eDriver. 4 races, 4 wins. How does that feel, sir?
Oh, well, it's awesome. I didn't expect that coming into the series. I was just looking to have some fun, and I knew it was going to be really competitive, and it's great to come out on top against such a good field. It's amazing. I couldn't have done it without BS competition. My friends and family, my girlfriend, for all supporting me, and it was awesome. I couldn't be happier to win. I have to thank, Track Racer for putting this on, along with Enzo Mucci, and yeah, it was a great series and whole lots of fun.
We must say a very big thank you to your good lady, who must be very patient with all the practice you'll have to put in, Phil. So
yeah, absolutely.
Now, of course, you're on the Road to Indy ladder in the real world, and of course we've got the Road to Indy E-Series coming up. Now, this race today was in the full-blown IndyCar. Now, would it be fair for me to say that is the ultimate ambition in your real-world racing career, given the series that you're in right now?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I would like to be a professional race car driver, wherever it may be. But IndyCar is definitely one of the top goals. It's such a great series and it's so competitive. It's just one of the coolest series out there. So that's the ultimate dream.
Well, we'd love to see you there. And will we see you in the Road to Indy E-Series as well, Phil?
Not this time.
That's a pity. That's a pity. Well, before we let you go and enjoy this championship, this clean sweep of the Ultimate eDriver Series, who would you like to shout out to here on Apex Racing TV?
Well, like I said earlier, my Team BS competition, my friends and family, my girlfriend for supporting me, Track Racer and Enzo for putting this on. Coming out 4 for 4 is awesome. It's just great. That's all I can say.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch you in action, Phil. All the very best of luck for the rest of the season, both virtual and in the real world, and looking forward to chatting again very soon. Well done.
Thank you very much.
So that was Phil Dennis joining us as our Ultimate eDriver. Now, I think, Jack, why don't we get the man himself, Enzo Mucci, in to have a chat, and I'm hand him over to you and tell us all about this wonderful series.
Absolutely. Enzo, if you can hear us, hopefully. I should probably just ask Enzo. Yeah, there we are. So, yeah. Enzo, an unbelievable championship once again, the second Ultimate eDriver Series. You're the man behind it. So, from your perspective, how has it been, this second championship? How has it been for you?
It's been cracking. Can you hear me okay? Because this mic is a bit dodgy.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Obviously, it was a last-minute thing again, as usual. It was in my mind for a few months, thinking, I really should put something on this winter, and I left it, and then a few people asked, a few drivers, and then I put the vote out there, and believe it or not, it was 50 straight away. 50 drivers wanted to come. It's like, right, it's on. So I had to quickly get it all together, and yeah, it was a success, I'm happy to say, and Phil has been absolutely amazing. It'd be good to have Mohammed here, but it was 3 o'clock in the morning in India, so he couldn't really join us. But yeah, I think them two next time would be a good battle.
Certainly would. It'd be great to have Mohammed Ibrahim back. But now, of course, due to the success of this championship, Enzo, I've got to ask: is there another one in the pipeline?
There's got to be, hasn't there? An Ultimate eDriver Series 3. It's got to be there somewhere. It's just basically I want to do it when everybody's off, when everybody's at home. So who knows with COVID, we could do it again sooner rather than later. But I'm sort of envisaging next January again, just early part of the year, and it's just once a year kind of thing because that's when the drivers are home.
Excellent stuff. We look forward to it. Now, Enzo, of course, we'd all like to thank you for putting the championship on. But before we let you off, is there anyone you'd like personally thank for putting this championship together?
You guys. And Lee at Apex Racing, he's been absolutely fantastic and just putting this all together, and Track Racer and all the drivers, because we can't do it without them. The turnout's been amazing, and they're a great bunch of people, and they're here for training. They take it seriously, and it gives them something to look forward to and keeps them fresh, ready for the seasons that are just about to start in the real world. So everybody, really, the drivers, you, and it's been great. Thank you.
Enzo, it's Peter here. I believe Jack Canan is speechless. He's so excited. In other words, his Discord has crashed. Can I just pass on our thanks from everyone at Apex for organising such an amazing event? Certainly for Jack and I in the box to commentate with so many big names, even none other than Rubens Barrichello as well. Who feels that? That
was amazing. I'm so happy he turned up. He could only do one day, but that's fine. I said that's perfect. Thank you.
Well, it's been our pleasure. Thank you so much for getting us involved in this, and hopefully speak to you again very soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
So we've got time for one more, and we're going to show my bias side here. I'm going to get a fellow Scotsman in to join me in the commentary box. Sandy Mitchell, Lamborghini factory driver. Sandy, welcome to the Apex Racing TV commentary box.
Thank
How
you.
have you enjoyed this Ultimate eDriver series?
Oh yeah, it's been really fun. I mean, the racing has been seriously close, especially in that kind of P3 to P10 area where everyone's separated by just a tenth or two. So really puts the pressure on in qualifying and to get a good lap in, because if you make a mistake, you can drop 10 or 20 positions. So yeah, it makes it good fun, and glad to have a good result today to finish the series off.
And of course, 2020 was a great year for you out on track with wins at Spa and in British GT. And then at the end of the year, a contract as a Lamborghini factory driver. That sounds like a very glamorous existence. Tell us about how that deal came about and what you've got coming up in 2021.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 2020 was definitely a strange year for everyone. But in terms of my personal racing, it was excellent. And winning British GT in Spa 24 hours for the second time in class was fantastic, and to now be more involved with Lamborghini is fantastic. So looking forward to that, and to trying to defend our British GT title this year with Adam Ballon and Barwell Motorsport. So a team and car that I obviously know well now, and we'll do the best we can to try and win it again.
And will you be off to Daytona to have a go in one of the Lamborghinis out there?
It doesn't look like it. I might take part in the iRacing one next weekend with a few of the guys that are in this series as well. But doesn't look like I'll be there in real life this year. But hopefully in the future, for sure, it's definitely something I'd love to be part of.
Well, that would be very cool. Now, before we let you go, Sandy, I know you've got a couple of fantastic sponsors, whiskey and chocolate and cakes and things like that. Best sponsors anyone could ask for. Who would you like to shout out to here on Apex Racing TV?
Yeah, our hospitality boxes are usually filled with goodies, so it's always fun. But big thanks to Black Bull Scotch Whisky and Tonics and Christie that you would have seen on the card today as well. They're big supporters of mine, and looking forward to hopefully sharing another successful season with them.
Well, we can all raise a glass of Black Bull Scotch for that. Preferably the 40-year-old. That's my pick.
Yeah, that's the one to have if you can get a bottle.
Fantastic stuff. Sandy, thanks so much for coming in to chat, and looking forward to speaking again very soon.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
So that was Sandy Mitchell, a Lamborghini factory driver and podium finisher today here at Road America. That is all we have time for today on the Ultimate eDriver series. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring you the action on behalf of myself, Peter Mackay, and Jack Canan and Marco Barbanera. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again very soon on Apex Racing TV.